Hey guys, welcome to a new video. Today I'm breaking down who I think is gonna win the UFC fight night between the Ritter and Allen. I will share my predictions, of course, as said, and I really think before I start breaking down, I'm not gonna break down a lot of the fights, only the Ritter, Marlon Vera fight, and the Kevin Holland fight. So first up, the main event. You have RDR against Brendan Allen. I feel like this fight is going to be a big matchup since I think it's a title eliminator fight. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I feel that the Ritter is, of course, going to win, even though on paper, Allen is a dangerous opponent. He has solid striking, good submission instincts, and he took this fight on relatively short notice. But in my view, the Ritter holds the edge. Here's why. I feel like the Ritter has more experience, but also a higher finishing ability. He has a strong record of finishing fights via submission and TKO. He's pretty comfortable in all phases, standing clinch, in the clinch, and on the ground, of course. Um, and also the same for control and defense. Against Allen, the Ritter tends to maybe absorb fewer strikes and defend more takedowns effectively. Analysts have pointed out that the Ritter defensive metrics beat Allen in key areas, as aforesaid. I also feel like from the pace and pressure, over the course of the full fight, the Ritter is a more steady fighter. He can always switch up his rhythm and stay at a slow down scrambles and dictate where the fight goes. Allen is kind of aggressive opponent, having high output, but I could also play into the Ritter's strength if he controls distance and the grappling exchanges. Of course, Allen took the fight on short notice, which may affect his full preparation. The Ritter, of course, is coming off a full fight camp, but also big wins, which I feel like maybe goes for the Ritter's motivation of him thinking he's gonna win this fight. He has this fight. So my predictions, I see the Ritter either getting a submission in the later rounds, or if he's really that active striking, I see him probably getting a TKO in the early rounds. Or maybe the second, to be fair. I don't really see them going to a decision unless if the grappling exchanges are not, I would say, boring, but more technical than they're going for the finish, as I would say. I mean, there could maybe be that Allen has a very good, it's called stand-up against the Ritter, which maybe steals some rounds off the Ritter, making Allen win by decision. But if there would be any scenario where Allen would win, I would only say it's a decision matter. So I will say I pick RDR for submission. Later on you have, or before that, you have Marlon Vera against Ayman Sahabi. I feel like Cheeto. Well, of course, this is a close fight on the paper with both having strong tools, but I lean towards Vera based on his style, toughness, and variance. Let's be honest, Vera's like top tier cockroach. This guy can absorb shots, take shots. If you've seen the shot where he takes the knee from Sean O'Malley, you kind of wonder, how isn't this guy going to the ground yet? By the way, just a quick explanation. Oh, the reason for me just fighting here is so you guys have something to look at, since I don't have really anything other to do. I mean, the only thing that maybe works for Sahabi is he's known for his precision and patience, of course, but also his defense, to be fair. He often wins rounds by controlling and going for the distance. He's mostly a counter fighter when it comes to having to counter shots, and he doesn't really jump into the messy engagements. He's not really of a brutal fighter. The guy doesn't just go haymakers when he thinks it's a good idea. The guy, I'm not sure what he's called again, but you remember fight where that one guy and Sabine Randleman fought? Sabine Randleman. Magomed Sabine, my bad. It's kind of trying to say something funny, but that was just bad. Yeah, I feel like he's not really that guy. It's not like Max Holloway against Justin Gaethje type thing. Yeah, but Sahib has solid takedown defense. Also, he's known to be patient in spacing, which maybe can neutralize his Cheeto's value. But here's why Cheeto gets my nod. Cheeto always has forward pressure, but he's also really unpredictable. He tends to bring chaos. He always goes in for the action. He mixes up with strikes and submission. He doesn't really like allow anybody to relax. As you can see in the Sean O'Malley fight, he never had Sean O'Malley resting. If he came into an exchange, he would stay in that exchange. If you had to mix up, he would mix up. I mean, I felt like when seeing the fight, I felt like Cheeto isn't really a guy that maybe like throws a couple of punches, steps out, throws a couple of punches. He's like always forward pressure. If he can't like strike, he shoots takedown. If he can't shoot the takedown, strikes. And his explosive movements, uh, uh, especially in fights like these, it often comes down to who lands the big shot or capitalizes in the scrambles. Vera is live in those exchanges. So I see Vera actually winning by decision, since Sahib is mostly a guy that would go out spacing. Yeah, that's my predictions. The Kevin Holland fight. So let's talk about Kevin Holland. Holland is one of the more bigger fighters that I've seen. Sometimes he's brilliant, but other nights he's inconsistent. Kevin Holland isn't really a guy that thinks about winning or losing. He's more of the guy for the money. But if he knows he can win, Kevin Holland is destined to win. And I feel like that's how Kevin Holland will win. Coming off from I think it's a loss. I'm not sure, but at least his last performance wasn't that big or wasn't that good. I think it was 318. Yeah, that was his last performance. I feel like Kevin Holland is always. It's like let's say against RDR he just gave up. He just gave up against RDR. But I feel like why Holland would win is his dynamic striking and creativity. Holland has showed a lot of flair, unpredictable angles, and confidence in his stand-up. But I also feel that his aggression and pressure is also something that he can win with, since he often pushes the pace, but he also forces his opponents into uncomfortable spots. Um, he always has the upside in chaotic fights. If the fight becomes messy, Holland can thrive on scrambles and momentum swings. I feel like also the thing, if the fight gets messy or chaotic, Holland can just start trash talking his opponent, which will maybe make his opponent actually overextend, and maybe he gets fluke KO. I don't know. Problem is that his pitfalls, or I would say loopholes, is his inconsistency. He can gas out, make mistakes, or lose composure. If the opponent is actually very disciplined, like Habib or like Habib against Cheeto Vera, let's say Cheeto Vera were to talk trash talk against Sahibib, it would not work. Since Sahibib has shown a lot of discipline throughout his fights, which means he's not that really, how can you say, tension won't really matter for him, since he can always stay in his composure. But we don't know about the opponent to Kevin Holland though. So I predict that Kevin Holland is going to win by TKO or knockout in the middle rounds. Maybe late round 2 or early round 3. If it goes to full distance, I still feel like he will win because of volume and aggression. So to summarize, I feel like, yeah, the Ritter likely submission round 3 or 4. Cheeto is winning that decision. Kevin Holland is probably taking that TKO mid-fight. So yeah, these are my picks. Sorry if it sounded like very regenerated. I like practiced before, but it was not a script, guys. I promise. Anyways, thanks for the video. Bye.